And we are live with our Christmas edition. Who all do we have in the house already? We had Danny Boyd, Twisted Mopar Garage early. JB's little shop was here a long time ago. Nick the Van Man, Lars. Lars puts up a link to Nick's van project. If you have not yet seen that, you need to. It's pretty cool. Unfinished Project says Dart Sport. Unfinished Project, by the way, is the Ninja, in case you're wondering. Got Buffdale Campos is drinking Dr. Pepper. Yes, indeed. If you have, by the way, most of you guys in here, if I've ever, shipped you anything or been on the mailing list somehow or otherwise, you should have gotten a Christmas card. If there's anybody watching who did not get a Christmas card and wants to be on that list, feel free to drop me an email. Never Done Projects is here. Colleen Tebow, a.k.a. Mama M to the third power. Mrs. One-Eyed Cat. And Never Done Projects did just register for the No Name Nationals. And by the way, for coming here, you get to know something early. This is the preseason. We've never opened registration this early. We've got 25 cars registered already. So typically, it opens up the last Friday of the year, so it's still a week before it actually opens. I'd really like to see 150 cars registered by Memorial Day. We'll see how it goes. It will affect what we can do at the event. Frizzell Racing is here. We've got Dean Stevenson, 6th Street Garage. The One-Eyed Cat, Let Me the First to Call Social. Dust Devil Garage is here. One-Eyed Cats is 273 days. Actually, 272 days, 3 hours, 56 and a half minutes to be exact. Indecisive Garage, our first registered no-name 500 channel of the year. If you've not gone over to Indecisive Garage and checked out his channel, you should. He had, last I saw, 33 subs, and there's 36 watching. So if you're not subscribed to Tim's channel, go check him out. It's good stuff. He is the proud owner of the first E4OD Cope Racing transmission trans brake valve body in his truck. Check it out. Should be good content to come on that. Dean Stevenson from the Upside Down Land. Dust Devil asks, are we friends on Facebook? Facebook is such a foreign land to me. Junkyard D says, bah humbug. I second that motion. Lars puts up the link to Tim's channel. Yeah, if you've not checked it out, you should. I really like it when people who are established racers and they find out about this community and they get involved. That's always cool. It's fun. Mohawk 62 is here. Lunar Outlaws Garage, how's it going? Grand Pito Vic. Pure Pontiac Garage. Don says, I got your bah humbug right here. Yep. We've got LSS Drone Photography. Ho, ho, Merry Christmas. If you didn't see it last night, we had an ambush live with Steve from LSS Drone Photography. I believe that was his first stream, actually. But he told me he's not, keen about being on camera. I said, hey, man, the only way to get more comfortable with it is to do it. So to his credit, we did it. Went live at 10 o'clock at night last night. He got to get a little bit of test run in with a live chat. Twisted Mopar Dennis, glad you're here. Lars puts up a link to the email. Yeah, I can't send cards to people whose addresses I don't have, but, if you're a regular in this community, feel free. Just shoot me over an address. I'll send you a card. Because I am going to do a mid-season mailer for the No Name Nationals this year. For you guys who already register, already know, are already there, it's not going to be so much geared toward you, but I am going to do a piece of snail mail for the No Name Nationals mid-season to help get it on the desk of people's minds. So if you want to be included in that, well, you'll be included in that too. How about that? I mean, 95% of the Christmas cards I mail are No Name Nationals folks. I mean, seriously, it's like I can send one to my aunt, a couple of my cousins, my barber, a couple of friends. That's it. The rest of my 180 cards are you guys. Mean Street Mopar, Unity Motorsports Garage, the Andy Wood. How's it going, sir? Turbo Tom 416. Let's see Lovejoy in here. I have not, but Dean sees him, so I take it you're in here. I got him pretty good this week, too. Whenever I have to get in touch with a no-name 500 guy who doesn't yet have my number, I always mess with him first. But I don't see him in here. Let me see LSS. Oh, I see. No. Different LSS. You're looking at LSS drone photography. Aha. There you go. I see what you're doing there. Captain Do. DNR. Dean, the DEF bypassing machine. Yeah. Yes, Wendy. Yes, Wendy. If you don't have your card, check your mail. Yours was in the first round that went out. Are you kidding? Nick says he'll register this week. Cool. Link again for Indecisive Garage. Dean is upside down, which we knew. Hello, Kim Fixes Things. Kim Fixes Things, by the way, I did not realize that they had put a 904 torque flight in that 66 Dart and did it with the manual column. That was interesting. When did you mail the cards? I got Wendy. You got Wendy's. I don't know. I sent them out, I don't know, it must have been a week ago or so. I don't know exactly. I had to do it in 3 stages. It's a lot of cards. Tom is already subscribed. Danny Boyd says, every day I don't have to work is a holiday to me. Slant Daily Garage says, what's up, suckers? Glad you could make it by. Hopefully we'll have Professor P make an appearance next week in regards to rules for a new class we're going to be running at the No Name Nationals. We try not to make it heavy on classes, but this is a class they're going to run. Do something a little bit different. We are going to make some class changes for 2025. But that's okay. There's always going to be a place for everyone. Glad Steve had a good time live. It was fun flying a drone around in your living room. Just be sure no one cousin dumping their overflow toilet in the sewer. That's right. Yeah, you know, I like snail mail. I mean, I could just put that on my community tab, but I think it's cool to actually just send a card. So, and I had your address because I had shipped you some stickers or something, I'm pretty sure. I don't get everybody that way, but I try. Travis is here. $273 $904 Rainbow. Okay. Hey, you're the one that tried to order a $700 4-forward manual valve body trans brake. BNR wants to know if there's any drones flying around New Zealand at night. Well, I hope so. That means there's one fewer that can fly over you, BNR. When did you pile of cards? Yes. So cool to get a card like that. And yeah, I've kind of passed the point where I can do address labels by hand anymore. It just became untenable. But I always liked doing it. I always thought it was classier, but I had to concede on that. So Brazil's broke because he's been buying Christmas presents for the car. I hear that. Yes. Also, that's something else we'll talk about next weekend. We're going to have something for vans next year specifically. We'll be talking about that next weekend too. A week from now. BNR says a pump shotgun is legal in New Zealand. I said so. Okay, I love a pump shotgun. Remington 870 is mine of choice. Get a Remington 870 with a big dot sight. That's the stuff right there. No choke, 18-inch barrel. Get a buck that patterns well in it. Go out and actually see what you can put in about an 8-9-inch circle. How far back? Get the buck that you can get as far away from that circle and still get them all in there as possible. Or go the other way and just know it's an in-your-house gun. One of these years we'll do a firearm training special live. And we'll probably do it some odd night of the week to not mix it in with what we do on Fridays. But we'll probably do that sometime. It's the winter. We'll do it. Dean says a drone in the park he frequents. Has one while you're walking home at night. No lights, just a buzz. Grandpito Vic says registering next week. Cool. Well, registration traditionally opens the last Friday of the year. This year we opened it earlier because there were some things that allowed us to get the date nailed down earlier than we normally can. So I'm like, well, great. We nailed the date down earlier than normal. We're going to have registration open too. But we soft rolled it out, and as happens every year, somebody figures out it's open without us saying, and there's a run on it. We never actually announced registration was open. It's just, the usual suspects figured out that it was. And since I know somebody will ask, this is actually hot chocolate made in a Solo cup. I don't make it in a Solo cup, but I dump the hot water in it. That's like the least classy thing you've seen in how long. Need a 2.8 class. See how many people actually do it. I think there will be one. Nick wants to know if Kim is bringing that wild-looking Ford van back. Wow, I don't know how I never saw that float through here. Kim sent a super chat and it was starred by. I never saw it on the chat. Kim Fixes Things says thank you for dedication and Merry Christmas. Well, thank you, Kim. I appreciate that. Very cool. I appreciate that. Anything that goes in super chat, I never ask for super chats, but anything that does float through super chat goes directly to the No Name Nationals Fund. All of my YouTube money ever has gone into the No Name Nationals. In fact, I was monetized years before the first No Name Nationals and never took it out. It wasn't a lot of money, but it trickled in a lot over time. And come the second No Name Nationals, there was almost $3,000 in there. So anyway, that's what paid for the movie at Second No Name Nationals. I'll admit that now, but it's like that little trickling in, it just goes in the general fund. Travis says, I'm not working tonight. Well, that's good. Dan, the IT guy. By the way, Dan, I've never seen that Super Bee Destroyer 1320 emblem you've got there. That's cool. Helping Mrs. Dan IT guys helping Destroyer move. Cool. I've been seeing pictures on that. Thanks for swinging by, man. This is a decidedly tamer show than what you guys do, but it's okay. It's great to have that kind of variety. The drones are flying during the day also. Not sure why it's not being reported. Car parts and we broke. Yeah. Wendy says, Wendy got a good address book because of No Name National. Still got lots of room. Yep. I finally put all mine on labels. I had to. Wendy says, all I sent out was No Name Nationals family and 3 other people. That literally is pretty close to what I do. I have 2 friends that I've known for 42 years. Known them since kindergarten. My barber, whom I've known that long too. Man, there's not many people I send a call. I got 3 cousins, my aunt. Man, that's just not much that I send a card to, except you guys. Remington 870 for the win? Yes, sir. Remington 870 is a good gun. Although, if I'm being perfectly honest, even though I really like my Remington, a Mossberg 590 is very hard to beat. It has some things I think are definitely better than the 870. Namely, the location of the safety. You know me? Captain Deuce says, nice shirt, the Griswold family. Front wheel drive sleigh. Yep, that's it. This kind of looks like a mashup of all of the trucksters, but for that movie, it was front wheel drive. By the way, tonight at our local drive-in movie theater, what's playing this minute? Christmas Vacation. And tomorrow, I could go to it, but Don says, I'll use my 7mm with a 28-inch barrel. Yeah, but that's for a different purpose. Rifles have their purpose. Shotguns have their purpose. Vans, ears perked. Yes. You're going to hear more about that next Friday. One can be true, but all can be wrong. That is right. That is correct. Stupid me. I didn't even look at the timestamp to see why I didn't see Kim's super chat because I hadn't gotten there yet. I'm usually okay staying a few minutes behind at the beginning because we greet everybody and I catch up. I will eventually catch up. Bowl of hot chili with cheese and bacon bits sounds good right now. Yes, it does. I have a friend who does chili cook-offs and stuff. His chili is the bomb. That stuff is so good. He and I entered a chili cook-off locally, and we did really good in it too. But the way they did the voting, they did it by popular vote. But the problem was the entries was by the firm that you worked for. Our firm had 5 or 6 members at the time, and I'm competing with firms of 30 and 40 and 50 people. We still overachieved, but we had no way of winning like that. I wish they'd have had like a judge from each firm. See, that would have leveled the playing field. We'd have had a shot at winning if they'd done that. That's okay. In fact, that model I think they should have done for that is exactly the model we use for the burnout competition, No Name Nationals. And I'll be looking to rotate judges' spots around this year too. SSR Performance, a.k.a. Big James. How's it going, sir? Turbo Tom is making popcorn balls for the Cook Christmas party tomorrow. Right on. Good stuff. Colleen has a 2.3 now. Kim will bring the fan or loaner out as a guest for the van class. Let me tell you, this is one of the stories I guess just never really gets told. But the first time I ever met Kim in person was kind of funny. I talked to Kim on the phone before the first No Name Nationals. I'd seen the van. I'm standing with Dallas at the concession stand. I won't even tell all this story. I probably should. I'll tell part of it. It was really good. Dallas and I are standing up by the concession stands at what was then Jeffers Motorsports Park, which is the same track we're at, which is now the Skelton Raceway and Sykes the drag strip. And we see that wild-looking Ford van with whatever that design is rolling the gate. And both of us just stopped and we're watching this van. One of the first vehicles there rolls up. Kim rolls up, head out the window. Kim's there. Ask her to park. I'm like, make yourself happy. Just make yourself at home. Does a small burnout right there at the concession stands and leaves. Alice and I are like, well, this party gets started. Still remember that. Travis says, I'm starting next year smoking free. Right on. Congratulations. That'll pay dividends for you, Travis. Nick's going to dig through the pile and rustle up something for the van. Cool. Dean, in his typical cryptic self, says, drone etiquette, the customary code of polite behavior in society or among members of a particular profession or group. The rules of etiquette are changing. Okay. I love this type of show, too. Yeah, it's great. We got a variety. I like that people do different stuff. I think it used to be in the earlier days of this wild west of YouTube automotive content creators, you saw a lot more lives that were exactly the same. And I like social lives. But you could literally see the same live on 3 people's channel with the same people, just rearranged a different order on the screen. And that's great. But I like that you see that the lives have evolved, have their own personalities and so forth. I think it's great. Mike Ivan, the torque converter whisperer, making happy no-name nationals customers one at a time. Yeah, and I'm planning to do something with Ivan when I can, sooner than later. Definitely want to have him on a Torque Converter Tech Live. The van has been rock solid since I patched it together for the first No Name Nationals, a reliable workhorse, yeah. My Aunt Nancy is here, by the way. It will be a party, yeah. Turbo Tom wants to try to join Travis in a smoke-free 2025. Man, just do it, guys. Do it. It's a great thing. Levi says, I'm over here realizing my measurements were wrong. Apparently eyeballing it wasn't enough. I'm about 8 inches short on a run of 15 feet. That's a pretty big magnitude of error, Levi. You need an old Ithaca Police Magnum. That's a very Nick the Van Man-like pick, but no thanks. Mossberg 590, Remington 870 are both excellent choices. As Ithaca Magnums, I guess they're okay, but I like ones that have a little bit of aftermarket support for them. I like the extractors on the Mossberg, and I really like the safety. I think those are both an advantage. Kim says, things you picked up super right away, less than a minute. I don't know. Okay. Don's converter is in process. Yep, cool. Do some content while you're there, Don. Yeah, I see that, Wendy. I'm catching up. I get it. Man, I'll tell you what, must be a lot of comments coming in. VNR is going to register after the holidays. Yep, cool. Understand. And there's time to do it. I'm just thinking we want to get on the stick quick. Laura says, my grandma won a church chili contest. The trophy was a golden toilet seat. She told him to keep it. Wow. 3 days, no smoking. That's right. You can't have 4 days of no smoking until you have 3 days of no smoking. All right? That's good. Keep it up, man. I have never met anyone who says, I quit smoking, whatever it was, 5 years ago. And, oh, I miss it. I hate it. I should never do. I've never once heard anybody say that ever. So congratulations. That's a great start. Captain Dude tried the Carroll Shelby Texas chili. It was good, but not that super flaming hot, but hotter than the other chili. Okay. I heard we're changing rules of classes and adding vans. We're going to be adding something for vans, and we're going to be changing up a couple things. Not a lot, because remember, you don't take something that's good and then just turn it into something else. We're just trying to make refinements and small changes to enhance what we already do. I mean, who would want to make wholesale changes to something that we all like, right? The wall is getting quite full. Oh, I got more to add. Lunar's got a nice spot on the wall. I don't know if I can do that. Lunar's here right below Dallas and right by his uncle. Kim was happy to have survived the drive from Pittsburgh to Sykeston in that 99 model 200,000. Oh, how amateurish. I survived that drive to Sykeston in the 85 Dodge and the 02 CRV with 359,000 miles, pulling a trailer in the rain with a broken belt in the tire. Hey, I do the same sketchy stuff that y'all do. Mohawk says, when Trump swears in, it will have been 5 years and 4 hours since I've had a cigarette. Right on. So you decided to get ahead of the higher prices and quit then, right? Is that how you played at Mohawk? Good deal, though. Good. Encourage these guys. Grand Pito Vix is still trying to re-quit. You know, my grandfather said the only way to do it's cold turkey. Here's what he said. I don't know. I've never smoked a cigarette in my life. I couldn't tell you. Captain Dews said his best success was replacing the cigarette with peppermint candies. Travis has a Mossberg Shockwave, and I love it. Yes, those are great. What I'll tell you, though, it really needs a stock on it or one of those braces. It really needs that. Because with that 14-inch barrel is fantastic with the brace. I've shot them. They pattern great, but that's what it needs. Captain Dew has not smoked since 2012. Right on. Good deal. Grand Pito Vic quit for 2.5 years and had a beer, and the friend said, "Do you?" And I messed up. Well, this is one thing I'm never going to go down the road and find out. Not smoking is keeping me warmer because I don't have to go outside. Yeah, there's all kinds of things I guess I don't think about. But Chevy Addict LLC, what's up, bro? How are you? Cool. Glad you're here. Sixth Street Garage says, I've never met anyone that is glad they started smoking. I didn't know tires were so cheap. 10-ply truck tires are $960 for 6. I would expect to be over $1,200 or $1,500. I guess it depends what you get and where they're made. Grand Pito Vic has smoked 36 of my 48 years. Grand Pito Vic, are you 48 years old? Ray says the best way to stop is stop associating with smokers. I can see that. Blue Grit says a coworker had a stroke. When he got better, he did not remember being a smoker, and no one reminded him. Oh, that's wild. Grand Pito Vic says, I tell everyone about this channel. Well, cool. Captain Deuce said, I started smoking at age 7 in 96. Dude, you were born in 89? You're not even, you're what, a few months as old as this movie. Great channel and people. I think the people here are great. I think they're cool as can be. 48. Grand Pito Vic is 48. Oh my gosh. You got a year on me. Well, Mrs. One-Eyed Cat's going to get Don registered for the No Name Nationals in a couple of weeks. Right on. You know, we were talking about Don English just a few minutes ago. I was talking with Dallas right before this live. And I said, Don is one of these guys that he'll use like a half hour, an hour every day between, you know, the off season and everything. And so when it comes time to get there and have the car and have it sorted out and have it running and have it working and get there and all your stuff, he just looks like he's just leisurely doing it, but it's because he's used his time well the whole year long and worked. And Don sets a great example. I think a little better than he realized. I have shirts older than him, yeah, as do I. Because I was 12 in 89, and when I was 12, I was 5'8", 211 pounds at 12. So I got shirts I still wear from me. Danny Boy's been smoking since he was 11 or 12 and spent most of his adult life chewing. Ugh. Link to Don's channel, the One-Eyed Cat. BNR stole his dad's cigarettes when he was 10. Born in March of 89. Yeah, well, thanks for making us feel old. We appreciate that, Mr. McIntyre. Danny Boy drinking his liquor since 11 or 12. Something else I've never done. One-Eyed Cat graduated in 83. There you go. Grand Pito Vic has so much fun here. Yeah, that's why we're here. Tell you something, too. Our Goofy Freestyle Christmas Live. Here in a few minutes, I'm going to open it up. If you have your Christmas cap, I'm going to open it up. We'll get on screen if you want to. So I'm going to open it up for that at the top of the hour. It took me late 30 to get caught up. BNR's been smoking cigarettes steadily since 1983. Ugh. Wendy was 19 in 1989. I remember in school when we had the new year 1989, they were doing some fun math on the numbers. I remember that well. Let's see, 1989, I would have been in the 8th grade. $12 old, my gosh. Captain Deuce's my birthday is the same as the actor who played the young Anakin Skywalker on episode 1, March the 5th, 1989. Okay. I remember watching the Challenger blow up live in 1986. Indecisive Garage purchased a brand new car with the money I saved from smoking. You saved more than that because not only did you not spend on cigarettes, you didn't spend on lighters, you didn't spend on the other stuff that you spend, like air freshener and burning your clothes and hacking up stuff you didn't even know was in you and all that. So you usually save more than just the cost of cigarettes in other health care. Levi says it's an American company where I'm buying them, but I wouldn't say the tires aren't made here. Not many tires are. Yeah, there's a lot of tires coming from other countries, a lot of them. Brazil says the only thing I've ever smoked is tires. Right on. I smoked a mag drill one time. He created a short in it at my buddy's shop and burned it up pretty good. Sometimes his older brother watches. So, Billy, if you're watching, Ben and I, we shorted out a mag drill good and got it smoking pretty good. Thumper said in 89, I was stationed in Frankfurt, West Germany, and got a nice chunk of the Berlin Wall. That's cool. Mohawk bought his first pack of Marlboro Reds when they were 55 cents, 56 years ago. Chevy addict started smoking in Iraq and 10 years later still trying to stop. Yeah. Make it happen, Captain. I was behind the TV when the Challenger blew up. I was watching the TV when the Challenger blew up. We had one of those rare snow days from school. I remember that. Bad Tree Blake is here. Says happy holidays to all the heathens. US 191 says, so where is everyone? I'm 300 yards off the San Carlos Reservoir in Arizona, enjoying a fire. Well, I'm in Christiansburg, Virginia right now. These people are from everywhere. I guarantee you when I dropped my postcards in the mail, I had a bigger spread of zip codes and states than anyone else. Mean Street Mopar is here. In 1989, Levi says his dad was probably graduating high school, and he's 11 years after that. That's funny. You were born in what, 2003, Levi? That's kind of funny. I just opened the trunk of a car today that hadn't been opened since June of 2003. Wisconsin death trip. Okay. Oh my gosh, this is the question of the night right here. Bruce asks, I need advice. How do I keep from going crazy when I'm forced to watch Hallmark movies every night and I don't have any place to escape to? Bruce, I actually said on someone else's live stream here a week or two ago, I'd rather take a ball joint fork with a poop chute than have to binge Hallmark movies. It's a central nervous system destroying thing to have to watch Hallmark movies. Rob's Rods and Streetcars, Shop 209 sneaks in here. How's it going, sir? Thumper says tobacco smoke gives him flu-like symptoms. Okay. Well, Dean says in that instance you need an outer body experience. I don't know. I think you need a shotgun for your television. I mean, it can be bad. Thumper was in shop class when the Challenger blew up. Yeah. Crampito Vic says to hit the like button if you feel so inclined. Thank you much. Levi says, Millennium Baby. That's right. Year 2000. That's right. Thumper says, mushrooms make Hallmark movies bearable. Lifetime movies, too. Yeah. About the same thing, different wrapper. Yeah. That's right. I get it. You're not going to find a lot of love for Hallmark movies in this chat, I can tell you that. Stephen Holtz just drive it, enters the chat. How's it going, sir? Mohawk was at Fort Riley, Kansas when the Challenger exploded. 38 could stand in the same spot from when the Challenger blew up as when the towers got hit. I was in the biological systems engineering lab at Virginia Tech when the planes hit the World Trade Center. I was there, and I walked into the office because there was a few people standing by the TV when that happened. We'd seen the first one hit. We were standing there. Then we saw the second one hit live. Bruce says not to tell anybody. Don't worry. There's only 53 people watching. Shop 209 says, sit down and watch it with my wife, asking her 50 questions about the movie. She tells me to go away. You know what? That's pretty smart. You see, John is a smart guy here, Shop 209. There you go. See? There you go. Oates got the Christmas card. Yeah, everybody I had an address for, I tried to get one out too. Wendy would rather watch a football game. Levi wants to know how old Bruce is. I would say that there's a chance that Levi and Bruce are both the youngest, and Levi and Bruce are the youngest and oldest people respectively in this chat. How about that? Lifetime movies, what I call victim television, where the man is always guilty and the evidence doesn't matter. That's also called some of the courts of laws. That's a lot of places, actually. That's every phone call to Dave Ramsey. That's a lot of places. Heavens Mopar Scott in here. There we go. May you all have a merry and meaningful Christmas. Right on. Heavens, I wasn't advocating escapist activities, but Hallmark movies, yeah. Thumper was deployed to Kuwait in 2001 on 9/11. Most boring deployment ever. Danny Boy says movies in general, if they're not car themed, he's going to be hard pressed to watch. I can understand that. Bruce is 75. Grampito Vic says, I have to be in the mood for when the Hallmark movies hit. I'd rather watch Roadkill. I don't know how to be in the mood for Hallmark movies, but whatever. I'm not old, just older. You got about 1 year on me. Don't talk about being old, John. You watch Die Hard yet? No, I haven't. I need to. Everybody says that's the Christmas movie. I have not seen Die Hard. I should make that the one I'll watch this year I've not seen before. How about that? Levi says, Bruce, you're old enough to get away with just nodding off and blaming it on age. Let me tell you, Levi, don't be writing checks you can't cash with Bruce. He'll show you what time it is. Bobby says, Hallmark is on. I'll be in the shop working, but it's the same with spots. If it's not about a car, don't watch. I'd rather be in the shop. There's a lot of great movies that aren't car movies. I got a stack of movies over here, actually. Different stuff. Let's see here. Talk about a great movie. It's not a car movie. And it's something that you guys will all have a technical problem with, being car people. No Country for Old Men. Because it's set in 1980 and there's a handful of 82 3-4 vehicles in it. Car movies with technical impossibilities are unbearable. I'd rather watch Lifetime. See, that's exactly what I was talking about right there. I don't let that bother me. Although, that said, I recently watched the movie American Gangster. And there's a scene in it. The movie was set in 1975. This scene was. And rolling around in the background, I see a late 80s Oldsmobile Cutlass. And I see like a 2020-ish Toyota, or not that new. The movie was 2007. But it was a real late model, like maybe an 06-07, whatever, Toyota Camry rolling through. You look closely, you see a lot of newer cars in that movie. They didn't control the background that great. Grandpa Vic says, I'm old. You're 1 year older than me, so I can tell you you're old. Captain Deuce says, the best way to avoid Hallmark channels and other wives channels is to get a universal TV remote and keep flipping the channel till the TV blows up. Now get your own remote and hide it. I don't think there's something wrong with the TV. Yes, Bruce. The age of wisdom, 75. Twisted Mopar Garages. He's watching It's a Wonderful Life now and listening in here. Old McDonald says, Die Hard is one of the modern movies that plays Vaughn Monroe Christmas music. Okay. Thumper likes It's a Wonderful Life because of his Jimmy Stewart impression. Okay. You announced next year's No Name Nationals dates yet? Yes, sir, I have. It's going to fall the same weekend, September 18th through the 20th, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Grandpa Vic says, if it doesn't have an engine or a dog, he doesn't care. Okay. I can go with that. No, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. From what everybody says, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I can see that. Why is it not a Christmas movie? Eli, you got a long way to go you got a half a century to go to make it to 75. Great movie. Okay, now listen, if it's got Tim's seal of approval, it means something to me. Twisted Mopar's been watching all the old military movies of Pearl Harbor, Midway. Cool. Blue Grit saw an article that put Die Hard in one of the top 10 Christmas movies. Bad Santa made the list. It's a Billy Bob Thornton movie and pretty good if you ignore the foul language. Okay. He's Good Time Garage. Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. Indeed. Got to say that with the Chicago typewriter in your hand. Bruce says, by the way, the only reason I'm here right now, other than because of Wilburn's sparkling personality, is that I'm 5 feet away from a Hallmark movie now. Right on. T missed us the last couple of weeks. Well, man, we miss you. Look forward to seeing you again in Sykes, if not sooner. Old McDonald says, watch video loops in the No Name Nationals 24 to avoid Hallmark movies. A lot of great content. No lack of stuff to watch. We've got enough stuff out there right now that you can probably watch it just in perpetuity. So many videos. I mean, there's got to be probably 15,000 hashtag videos alone. Bruce Willis was cool in his prime. Yes, he was. I remember him well in that. Pulp Fiction. And Bruce Willis was cool. Got Alzheimer's now, so he's had to retire. Thumper says he can do a doubleheader with the Ice Cream Cruise again. Yep. Now have a machine gun. How is that not Christmas? I think firing full auto stuff on Christmas is great. $38 says, Thumper, I've learned not to critique car movies anymore. For sure reason it's not appreciated. Yeah. I don't know. I like good movies, as in movies that make you think and are really well done. I like stuff done like by the Coen brothers, Kubrick, Quentin Tarantino, movies that make you think. It's good stuff. Kind of movies you got to watch more than once to get it all. Captain Deuce's Batman Returns announced a Christmas movie. I've heard that. Bruce says, think Bruce Willis was tough. Charlie Ruggles would clean his clock. Okay. Danny Boyd says, Bruce Willis is my size, which is Chuck Norris's size. Dan, I think you and I are the same height. I have not, Danny Boyd. Dizzy Izzy says, Merry Christmas, one and all good people. How's it going, Dizzy? Dizzy says, new movie Red 1 is excellent. Danny Boyd says, Chuck Norris is little. Okay, I still wouldn't want to fight him. Thumper says, I can't help but notice things out of place and training goes deep. Yeah, I do too, but I don't let it bother me. Like, for example, I enjoy the Dirty Harry movies, okay? If I'm watching those movies as a professional firearms instructor, it's maddening. But I don't watch them that way. I watch them as just cool old action movies, okay? Because if I'm watching that for its authenticity in gunfighting and martial artistry, it's a disaster. You can't watch those movies with that hat on. You have to watch them, enjoy them for what they are. And I very much enjoy the Dirty Harry movies for what they are. B&R had to tow two of our AAA tow trucks today. The 2019 Peterbilt 337 HD flatbed blew the Allison transmission. Ooh. 2018 Chevy 1-ton 6.0 LS blew up a piston out the bottom of the oil pan. Oh my gosh. I bet that Allison actually weighs more than that LS. I would dread pulling that out. Steven introduced the boy to the double opening tailgate on the 72 Torino wagon today. Oh, stuff like that's so much fun. Indecisive Garage is watching Christmas tree drags on enjoying this chat. A lot of people listen to this chat podcast style. I'll notice we'll have as many views on this after the fact as we do when it's live. Danny Boyd says, love the Dirty Harry series. Yes, sir, I do too. Which of the movies is your favorite, Danny Boyd? Home Alone, those were good movies. I enjoyed the first one. Second one was good too. I enjoyed Home Alone. Grand Pito Vic says Charlie Ruggles is from the 1800s. He's a man's man from years ago. Yeah, well, those were some tough people back then. They had to be. They wanted to know what kind of sorcery was happening. Yes. Escape from Alcatraz is a good Eastwood movie. Yes, it is. That is a good movie. I enjoy it. I watched the Iger Sanction not long ago too, just because I like his stuff. Well, that's a weird one. I thought the Mule was okay, but it was weird too. Definitely like his. My favorite of the Clint Eastwood Dirty Harry series is Magnum Force. I believe that was the second one of the series. That was my favorite. I like Dirty Harry just fine. I think I like Magnum Force a little better if I was going to rank them. They're both great. After that, they seem to kind of taper off. I mean, The Enforcer was good. Sudden Impact, it was dark. It was messed up. And then the Deadpool was different. The Deadpool was just filmed later enough that it was just kind of a different era. It didn't really fit, but it was good. It was enjoyable. It was the last one. It was Jim Carrey's first movie too, by the way. How about that for a trivia question? Thumper says, what's it? IMDb? It says Chuck is 5'9". Bruce is supposed to be 6 foot. Demi Moore is 5'5". I don't know. I don't put any stock in any of that. Sounds expensive being RES. Dirty Harry was fairly accurate to the tactics today. Yeah, but well, sorta. Those were the days of Weaver stance and all kind of goofiness, but still, when you fire a 44 Magnum and he pulls it up in the air to simulate recoil, it's the fakest looking thing I think I've ever seen. I mean, that movie's just full of that stuff. You have to enjoy it for what it is, not what it's not. I will tell you this. So one of the guys who does the firearm stuff, he's a professional Hollywood armorer. You can always tell when he does the movies, Rotten Galati, because he's really good. And you'll notice all the little things. The training is good in the movie. You know, like for example, if you have, let's say, heroes who are supposed to be, their part of the movie is that of a trained operator, you'll see them act like trained operators because they get training for the movie. But if the part is by a gangster, for example, who's not had any training and is just violent and reckless but has no training, you don't want to see that operator trained to handle a firearm. You want to see them handle it like an untrained person. And that would be harder to ask of somebody who has good training. You know, and that kind of stuff goes a long way for the authenticity of the movie. I like that. And he's a professional armorer, unlike that complete total hack that Alec Baldwin hired, that DEI hack he hired who couldn't do her job and got someone killed. There's a big difference, you know. Wagons would fit the van category, correct? No, on no planet ever, Don. That's a silly question. A wagon is not a van. One of the first 2 or 3 Magnum Force, maybe? Yeah, Magnum Force is my favorite. It was the second one. 273 days. Also, the only LA small block I do not have in the collection. I do have one. You should find one. They're cool. They're not that hard to find. Well, they're harder now than they used to be. Magnum Force is my favorite. I like the Death Wish series. Yeah, I do, but it's just darker and it's just a little weirder. It's okay. I like the Death Wish series too. Well, I think my favorite thing in the Death Wish series is the cars. Well, my goodness, there's Jed Scott. Merry Christmas, Jed. 2 Mules for Sister Sarah. Yeah, I heard a lot of people recommend that movie. Jed wanted to pop in and wish us well. Well, thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate it. Mechanic is an awesome Eastwood movie, especially the ending. Cool. Not seen it. I guess I should. What was the name of the Charles Bronson movies? You're probably thinking of Death Wish. That's probably his most famous series. Well, definitely the most famous series. Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry, my favorite movie. That is a good movie. I like that movie. It's not the kind of one you want to watch, you know, periodically, but it's a good movie. I like the very beginning of it. It begins with a bank robbery. I won't give you any spoilers on the rest of the movie, but it reminds me so much of that town, Lakeview, Oregon. Because it's like, I mean, Lakeview looks now like that is setting did in the 70s, 73, 74. Evans Mopar Scott says, howdy, Jed. Thanks, I'll take it. The mechanic was Bronson. Okay, yeah, now that sounds right. That sounds about right. That sounds correct. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah. Oh, boy, the first one's over. Now another one starts. Bruce, you're paying tax on it. It's that simple. You're paying the tax, man. That's how it works. Minus 2-lane blacktop. 2-lane blacktop's all right. I like it. Okay. Jed's surgery went well, and he was operating in there, so okay. I've gotten behind again. Look at that. Dallas would be proud. Thumper says that Jimmy Stewart flew 20 combat missions over the Third Reich in B-24s. He was a wing commander. Okay, didn't know that. I didn't think Bronson was that old. Bronson was old in those movies. He really was. In Magnum Force, a.k.a. Dirty Harry 2, Clint Eastwood told David Soul in the shooting range his ammo is light power compared to Remington 44 Remington Magnum. Yeah, I mean, but I would far rather have 9mm than 44 Magnum. Far rather, for several reasons. Nick says, regarding vans, in our van clubs, we don't allow wagons, though we oddly allow classic panel trucks. Yeah, I can see that. That makes sense to me. Gran Torino and Unforgiven are my favorite Eastwood movies. Back to the Future 3 is a close follow-on. Okay. Gran Torino was good. It's all right. It's kind of weird, but it's all right. Fart Sack Jack enters the chat. Jan Michael Vincent. Okay. Don't know what that goes with, but cool. Who had surgery Tuesday morning. Hope that went well. Mohawk is out. Indecisive Garage Watch Convoy from 1978. Still good, yes. Street Fox 5.0. Street Fox Mike. Howdy. Dust Devil says, in no universe is a wagon a van. That is correct. That is correct. Bruce Willis did a remake of Death Wish. Frizzell says, two-lane blacktop, American Graffiti, Dazed, Confused, in about 20 minutes of the movie Bullet. That sounds like pretty good. You know, a lot of people say, oh, man, I want to watch Bullet. And I'm like, no, you don't. You just want to watch the chase. The rest of it is just... Panel trucks are also called panel vans, so yes, it is a van. See, I can get along with that. I get that. Wagons are not, panel trucks are. That makes logical sense. Bronson was born November 3rd, 1921. Sounds about right, yep. Which, if you think about it, 1971, that puts him at 50. That's about right. He was a little old to be an action star then, but he could regulate at 50 years old. Unfinished Project Dark Sports, sir. Sedan delivery is a van. See, even Dean agrees. You got agreement all the way to New Zealand on that. So, Bullet is just good for the chasing. Yeah, I tend to agree. Although I got to tell you, I really dig the Charger in Bullet. Had a light load gives me more control, which is true. So people get those big calibers and they load them light. I would prefer regular 9 full power loads, like a Corbon DPX in the 9. I think that's a better way to fly. You got to remember the technology in rounds has closed that gap. So it's not like it used to be. You used to have 9, and then you would move up like this at 38, 45, and 44. It's not like that now. Now the gap is much closer because the technology at 9 has come way up. Smaller, higher velocity, 1,400, 1,500 feet per second 9. Well, with expanded hollow points, that's the way to go now. Do you think about it? Look how light and fast and non-expanding the slug is on an AR. But it's a rifle. That's right. But just look at it like that. When you think about what an AR shoots, it makes a lot of sense. Blue Rig Garage says Jan Michael Vincent played the young backstabber in the Mechanic movie. Yeah, I remember him from Airwolf. Bruce says, I played Barry Sachs in the soundtrack of the French Connection. That is freaking cool. French Connection, for those of you who don't know, I believe is a 1968 Roy Scheider movie. That is neat, Bruce. Counting the hubcaps coming off the Chargers like a drinking game watching Bullet. Yes. That's neat, Bruce. That is really cool. That is really, really cool. Vanagon, van wagon. Nah, it's still a van. So if you have a water-cooled Volkswagen Vanagon, it's a van. Nick says my favorite car movie is the Gumball Rally. Yeah, I can see that. A sedan delivery is just a station wagon with no side glass. But it's still a panel truck. But it's a sedan delivery. It's a little different, isn't it? I mean, I would say, is it a car or is it not? Vans aren't car chassis. I think that would be the easiest way to differentiate. Grandpito Vic says my autocorrect is corrupt. Aren't they all? My Suburban has station wagon on the title. I can believe that. They title things in some screwed up ways. Indirect connection, Jason. Clayton's Toolbox. How's it going from Antarctica up there where you live, sir? The Charger lost 5 hubcaps on the bullet chase scene. Yep, pretty sure. Nick carries 124 grain standard pressure spear gold dots. Okay. I don't know what the 124 is about, but I still, spear gold dots a good ammo for the 1990s. I really like Defiant Munitions, which is the successor to Corbon. Once the Pye family sold it, that's where the kid went and opened his own. And I think that's I would say for my money, that's probably the best defense ammo on the market today. Defiant Munitions. Plug for them. I get nothing from them, but they make good stuff. Dust Devil Garage says, believe me, after starting this, I've been thinking very hard on what a van is, and I have a couple people may not agree with, but not saying anything until someone brings it up. Brian, I think next weekend we need to tell them what a van is. It's amazing what people will disagree on. Dizzy likes the Blue Mule flat nose truck and White Line Fever. Okay. That's the only movie that with Jan Michael Vincent that Indirect Connection has ever seen. Airwolf, yes. Bruce is out. He's stripping and heading outside. Okay. Have fun with that. Mostly, if it's not a car and not a truck, it's a lot closer to being a van. I think it's simple, Brian. I think if it's a truck chassis, it's a van. That's simple. I mean, even your Astros and all that stuff are truck chassis. And Aerostar wasn't built on a car chassis. I think it's pretty simple. You could get Pintos with a side panel on the porthole. Yeah, that's not a van. No, but it's a car chassis. Indirect Connection time for the Daily Dart Sport update. I can go with that. If it blows a hole in the quarter panel, I like it. Triple aught buck. I like double aught. The nice thing about triple aught is it stacks a little nicer in the bore. I think our Camaro could be a van. It has 4 wheels and an engine, so basically the same. Yeah, so you start to get all that kind of stuff. I wouldn't call a Blazer or Bronco a van. No, because they're not. They're not. I didn't say a truck chassis makes it a van. I said, but to be a van, it has to have a truck chassis. Big difference. One includes the other. The other does not have to include the one. Got a little possum in the house. The 2024 No Name National Bracket Champ is here. You better hope Joe doesn't sneak by. He'll want to come slap that title out from under you. Y'all need a rematch in 2025. Probably classify a van by its long route. You can't do that, DNR. Shorty vans or short wheelbase. I say that to be a van, it has to have a truck chassis. A van is mostly rectangular. Maybe 2 out of 3. Triple lot will make a hole for your van. Yeah. Well, birdshot will close enough distance, man. But birdshot hits like a Foster slug if you're in 10 yards. Cushman made of Vanster. I would allow that. Yep. Hey, we're at halftime. I had to switch over. If a van doesn't have a full frame, the unibody has massive torque boxes. Yeah, but the Dodge vans, all of those B-Series vans, they have an integrated unibody. They're vans by anybody's standard. The 23 Champ is still lurking as well. That's right. Gosh, all we need is Joe in here now. We got all 3 years represented. They got the cousin Eddie. Hey, if you have your Christmas hat, you can jump in here. Grand Pito Vic seen triple lock go through 360s quarter panels. Double lock will too. I like the smaller for 20 gauge for sure because it packs in the bore better. 20 gauge is a great piece. Let me put this right here. Got my screen turned up just enough to mess it up. Place the pin message. If you've got your Christmas cap on, you can jump on screen if you like. Minivans are more than welcome, and most of them are unibody. Yeah, I think it's really simple. People are overcomplicating this because some of you guys just like to do that. You know what a van is. Let's not pretend otherwise. I would include a VW microbus in there, even though it's technically not considered a van. It's a microbus. I would call that a van. Early 70s Dodge were the best looking vans for sure. Yeah, the B van, the common B van was from summer of 71 as a 72 model. Minivans can be so much more force fed. Absolutely. Chrysler minivan with a turbo 2.4. They'll run. Steel core FMJ 76239 will go through a car front to back, including bumpers. Guess how I know? It depends on the car, but yeah, I've put an AK round through a car. It'll do it. The 2024 beginner bracket champ is here. Thank you to all that red lighted to make it out. And he won it with a manual transmission. Let's not overlook that. What's your favorite rifle round? Any purpose or all? Well, that depends what we're talking about. If we're talking about inside of about 300-400 yards, I really like a 7.6239. If we're talking about past that, I like a 308. And all you Creedmoor people, save your hate because I do not care. Brian is having fun with the is it a van question. Clayton's Toolbox likes the 69 to 74 Ford Econolines. Yeah, those are great looking vans. I think they're cool. Those are great. The 60s short vans are awesome. Yes, they are. Skelton Racing Productions here says, I hit 650 subs yesterday. I think I qualify for No Name Nationals again. Well, once you're in, you're in. Once you got your 500, you're in. You don't have to relitigate it. But we do that because we want people to have some commitment to the community and earn their way in, and it's a great experience. My cousin Eddie rocking properly. 6.5. See, I told you the Creedmoor people always rush in. No, Creedmoor doesn't shoot flat. Nothing does. A 50. There's no other. Yeah. Well, while you're putting your shoulder, having it reattached and scheduling your surgery, I'm already getting another round on. 270 win, Chester all around great. Yeah, sure. New City Carpet, how's it going, sir? I hope that Christmas hat is snail rated. I'll look the other way on its date. This is a licensed Cousin Eddie Camp, by the way, for what it's worth. No, it is not snail rated. It's about as snail rated as a lot of the helmets we see for cars running 765 and slower. Unfinished Project says 11 long-haired friends of Jesus in a chartreuse microbus. Upper Lake says warning shots in 40 millimeter. That'll get the point across. Johnny C says our family van was a 76 Ford. It was so nice. Orange shag carpet, all the usual fun stuff, including 8-track stereo. Good times. Slant Daily says convoy. Indirect Connection says we need a convoy. Grand Pito Vic says we went from minivans to it's a big round. Oh yeah, that's what happens over here. I can think of about 3, 4, 5 things that you could just mention in this chat. It'll get the people just going nuts. It'll sound like when the birds go nuts to zoo. Thumper says, I took my driver's test in a mid-70s E250 with a 460. The family truckster with 6 kids. Green on green with more green on the extra green. Right on, man. Sounds great. Sounds like you had the green flooring with the green doghouse, the green dash pad. The green interior, the green exterior. Blue Grit says, I have a video of a guy that autocrosses a 63 four-door Falcon. He tows it with a 69 Ford van. The video shows the factory option of pop-out running board step when you open the sliding door. Cool. That van should have had a green tinted bug shield also. Oh, bug shields. Dizzy says Remington 30-06 model 742 semi-auto. Okay. Something like that. I kind of like a bolt gun. Kind of traditional. I like the Remington 700. Big fan of that. With the X mark trigger, because I don't like one that you can just close the bolt and will fire without touching the trigger. Thumper says it did have a green bug shield and dark green tinted windows. Gosh. Oh. Mom liked all the green. I like green. Green's a cool color. It's one of my favorite cars. One of my favorite colors on a muscle car is like a dark emerald green. Dark emerald green metal flake. You love my 7x57 Berlin Fabrik Mauser. All kinds of Mauser variants out there. Thumper, I bet it could hide in a cornfield in July. Probably could. Grandpito Vix's mom loved mint green. I like green. Green is cool. It's a good looking color. New City Carpet says, any thoughts on a 5-angle valve job not being effective on nearly pure stock engine? It's not about the angles. It's just about the flow around the seats. And that low lift flow is crucial, especially on a stock engine like that. But that low lift flow is a big deal. I mean, the angles themselves are not what create it. You just don't want it getting in the way. So the more angles you have, the more it's like a concentric type of seat. But that is a wonderful question for DV. Overkill. Overkill what? Unfinished projects that I got a raffle ticket for a Delaware compliant. What is a Delaware compliant AR? What goofiness do they impose upon your rifles there? That's funny. That advice is worth what you paid for it, but yeah, it's more about that low lift flow. I would go over watch. Vizard's got some good videos on low lift flow. You're talking about a quarter of the diameter of the valve itself. Doesn't sound right. Watch his video. I'll get it wrong. He'll get it right. Colleen says, my first charge was dark green. First thing I did was sand it and paint it primer gray. Ooh, I like that dark gray. I like a dark gray on any of those. What year Charger was it, Colleen? Low lift, yeah. Funny until you have to live here. It's funny you're declaring your stuff. BNR says 5 angles have to be cut on a Sunder 30 machine. Yeah, well, that's one thing I'm thinking. To try to do 5 with stone would be a little more challenging. Colleen says it was a 71. Okay, so it's like the one in her avatar here. If I can do this. Looks like that. Same year as that. Indecisive Garage is an 1898 US used a 4570 with a 405 grain bullet. It only takes one shot. Well, most things only take one shot if you get one good hit. New City Carpet says, my goal is to run 1295 on my pure stock 389 Pontiac. What's that in? That sounds reasonable. I mean, when you say pure stock, you're clearly willing to change some stuff. It's not purely stock anymore. Never done projects as I plan to rebuild an LT1 for one of the Camaros. I have no clue where to start. Kind of hard to tune these cars, so can't go wild with cams and headwork. I don't know. I think you could. I think the worst, if you're talking about the LT1 with the OptiSpark, I would trash that. That to me is just a horrible system. But if you get rid of that, I had to have another one. Yeah, I get that. Thumper says, I can attest 4570 does a fine job of making big holes in formerly holeless objects. Oh, yeah, it's a crazy round. If I was going to have another Winchester 94, it would be a 4570. I just think that just makes such a great caliber for a lever gun like that. I'll pay for performance. Well, good, because you need to. It's not cheap. Top tier engine builders, a lot of them use 5 angle. Yeah, they do, and they also have a machine to cut it too. I guess the big thing I'm saying is that don't make it necessarily about the angles. Optimize the combination. That's what I think is a bigger deal. I mean, I see guys who worry about a valve seat angle and they have completely the wrong cam. You know, I don't think people realize how much they lose on a cam that's not quite right. It is a lot. 4 angles can be cut in vintage iron heads with 3 stones. 3 angles very precise with stone. Yeah, I'd go with that. That's my valve seat marker right there. You got the OptiSpark doing great right now. They do great till they don't. LS would be great in what? What year Camaro? Because I've put an LS in a 91 Camaro and it fit just fine. The only thing I had to move was a brake line. I had to move it from the back of the cross member to the front. And it was really tight, but it fit just fine. What year Camaro are we talking about? Seems like more angles on a valve will multiply the chance of burning one out. I don't know. Maybe. It just depends how much seat you still have on there. How narrow you make the seat. I always need this and that with a swap, put an LS in a Ford. Yeah. So have you test fit that in the car, Grand Pito Vic? Because I've obviously seen you building the engine, but have you test fit that in that chassis? Got 295s and a 93. Okay, so you got a catfish Camaro. That's a little different, but from what I hear, that ought to just drop right in. That should fall right in. An LS ought to fall right in that. Easy. But I can tell you they fit the third gen just fine, even with air conditioning. I had to trim the box for the evaporator core, but it was just fine. Lars went back on my YouTube channel a million years ago. He has a video where I started it up. And even that video was old when I put it on there a long time ago. That Camaro should drop right into that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That'll fit like a glove. I don't know why I don't think that would fit. So this swap I did before you had all these conversion kits. I was early to the LS swap game. And I had to use a shorty header, a street rod style shorty header that had a straight down exit on one side. And I used a swept header for a fourth gen on the other. We might be swapping. Yeah. Has to swap the mounts first. Okay. Yeah. 5 angles usually for full ported heads. 700 to an inch of lift. I can see that. John Wilbur's, let's unload this hay. Yeah. Yeah, I would think that'd be time for cooling the valve. Thumper says, I have a 98 formula. I think the 200,000 mile LS1 will get relieved by a stroked 6 liter in the near future for science. Yeah. But you didn't have to deal with the firewall being under the dashboard in a third gen. I just know it fit just fine. It fit just fine. Fit just fine. Transmission crossmember lined right up. Going from a $700 Ford to a T56 used the same drive shaft. Perfect. The engine mounts are a little tricky. The alternator had to be relocated up high too because it did not fit down low like it was. Not a bad swap. I drove that thing to Carlisle too. Car would run. Still runs. You see a picture of it on a road trip to Florida on my community tab if you look back too. I believe I heard LS and my attention was gained. Okay. What most have them do in the No Name Nationals budgets, 3 angles is good. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, tell you what, if you want some good valve seat tech, go over to Charlie Servidio's channel. Charlie Servidio head porting. He'd be a good one to check that out on. He does a lot on the bench. Scott says, I almost painted the Incredible Hulk on a patchy green 70 satellite I had. I like doing themed cars. I painted Captain America on the hood of my 2000 Sebring with an American flag flame job. Wow, that's a lot of stuff. 113 says, hey, Cousin Eddie, well, how's it going, sir? Grand Pito Vic says, as soon as this LS3 Vic is done, I'll be doing a 5OH and then a Hemi swap in a something. Okay. Well, let me tell you, don't be counting that one first. I'll be surprised if you have that Crown Vic all together and running and driving and doing all this stuff by No Name Nationals. Pretty tall order. Won all 3 builds. Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, just do what you can do and don't worry about what you can't. Do what you can do, but just stay on it. If you just keep staying on it, eventually you'll get everything done. Uh-oh. Someone at the door. Chunk D with his Mopar themed Santa hat.
That's right. That's right.
It's blue and it's still hanging over.
Well, hold on. I gotta mute you over there. So.
Thumper painted Iron Maiden's Eddie on the roof of a Derby car in 1987. There's a link to Charlie's channel right there. Check him out. So how is Junkyard Delta?
I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. I just want to jump in here. Everybody's saying Merry Christmas. You're going to acknowledge my Bah Humbug, so I figured I'd throw my Bah Humbug hat in and jump
That's
in.
Right.
Say Bah
Do
Humbug.
it in person.
This is actually, I just did this. It's actually my, Broncos hat. But since I don't watch football anymore, so I figured, we'll go with,
There you go.
Mopar theme. So I want to hear more about this the van. I got to peel some more information out of you here.
Well, we're going to talk about that next week. We're going to talk about that next week. So one of our folks here is proposing a van bracket, and it'll be interesting. New City Carpet says, any idea on a direct replacement for a 65 Muncie for a GTO? He's looking for a $299 first year as legal 65 NHRA rules. Couldn't tell you, buddy. That's out of my wheelhouse. And we have the dawn.
There we go. Ho, ho, ho.
I didn't want to be outdone by anybody.
Right on. Was it the
Well, I got the Santa suit. It was one of my mom's favorite items. This suit's been worn many a times. But what else do I get to wear it? I was thinking about taking it to work because I'm like Radar at work. I deliver all the supplies to different areas on little Cushman. I want to cruise around there as Santa,
I'd get you a red bucket and a bell.
Oh no, I got it. Oh, I got the bag and everything.
There you go.
3 pockets so you can separate presents. Now, this is my mom's pride and joy back in the day. She used to make money with this.
Our oldest son was born in 90, and she did it when they were babies.
All right, I got to lose this. This is crazy.
I can see that. If anybody should play Mall Santa, it should be Don.
Well,
he done it a couple times.
Well, they had a company lunch on Wednesday, and I wore this one to work.
There you go. That's better.
Yeah, I like that. There you go, New City Carpet. B&R will know that. He's all about that. That's his thing right there.
All right, I got it.
We used to have one of those, or probably still do have one of those Santa suits floating around the family. I remember when I was a kid, Grandpa would wear it, and he'd put, the mustache is supposed to go here in your mouth, but he'd always put it up so his nose would stick through the holes.
Yeah, this one's the same way. It's got a chin strap, but you got to put it under your lip, not your chin.
Right.
Otherwise, there is a hairpiece wig to it, but I ain't going that deep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Don, why don't you just grow your mane out? Then you don't have to wear the hairpiece.
Yeah, right. I don't grow a beard.
He don't have the facial hair.
I don't think I've had a beard more than a week in my life. And it's sparse.
I'll tell you what. I can't stand it. I don't know how D there does it.
I've never had that issue. It's like you and smoking, John. You never knew. I don't know what a beard is.
No, when I tell you what, when I get much past this, it's got to go.
Well, you come up in my area of the country in February, January, you'll want this. you want this.
Ooh,
That's just it. I can't grow that.
You don't have a
I don't. Body hair is not an issue in our family. I knew a dude I worked with. He could grow a 5 o'clock shadow by 11 o'clock. This guy just grew a hide or hair. You felt bad for him, and he never shaved. He just cut it short.
I can grow a lot of beard. I just don't.
Well, it's genetic. Some people are predisposed, and I'm glad I don't have to worry about.
I thought I had a picture here, maybe.
I know Wendy's wants to braid everything.
No, I don't.
How did your deer season go, Don?
I seen a couple. They were running about 28 miles an hour. Doing this.
That doesn't sound good. Are we not going to have a venison roast in September?
Oh, I got that.
Oh well, we got that.
Yeah.
We still got freezer from last year. That's all right. We still got late season. That starts the day after Christmas.
Okay.
That's a crossbow and flintlock.
No rifle.
Weeks after Thanksgiving. It just ended Saturday. I don't really have a whole lot of places to go. I don't know any private land and anything that stayed around here. I really don't know.
Don is Santa, Ron is
but
the
it
elf,
gets-
JB's Rudolph. Some people can't grow hair, yeah. Cope says, that's exactly what Attila the Hun said. Niagara Falls. That's right. There's a lot of Niagara Falls going around.
Sorry if I'm being loud.
No, you just keep doing what you're doing, honey. Wendy's over here. Wendy's doing Christmas dinner tomorrow. There's a lot of wonderful things cooking on the stove over there. She's doing a great job.
I'm preparing the baked mac and cheese.
Mm. The baked mac and cheese that you had at the name, that was pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah, she's already got the ham cut up. It's waiting, and
It's in the fridge now.
so I'm at the point now where I don't even enter the kitchen. I'll be in the way.
Dean says that John Cope does Jonathan Winters. Okay.
Jonathan Winters, that was a while ago.
Okay.
What's your favorite thing over on the stove there, Don? Don't say Wendy.
I don't know, but it's making me hungry. So it's officially the shortest day of the year, and the days are going to start getting longer, right?
Yeah,
One of my
we've
favorite
already,
days.
we've already been having later daylight. You get later daylight earlier than you get a longer day because of the difference in the morning. So it's already been getting longer in the evening.
Yeah. So I say
Yeah,
I
I just
won't
hate
see the sun
January,
till
February.
March. I'll see it at work. I see it at work, but that don't do me any good. But we're still getting stuff done. Yeah, I'm going to stop and see Mike next Friday.
Sounds like fun. You're so what's your battle plan looking like for your Valiant there?
You
What,
need more
him or me?
money?
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, differentiate.
I don't know yet.
You're picking up your converter. What are you planning on? What's your plan looking like for the winter? Because you usually work in the winter.
Again,
There's
him or
not
me?
a lot I can do.
Both of you.
Well, I gotta get this motor. I gotta get it honed. I'm gonna have to hone it myself. I don't have a machine shop around here. And a friend of Uncle Sonny's out there in Ohio. He's Marty's Hot Rod Garage. has the Hemi Express wheel stander. I invited him in earlier, but he hasn't showed up. He was on a couple weeks ago. But I'm going to take the motor out there. He puts them together. He don't work on them. He just puts them together. So, we're going to go out there and put it together when the weather breaks. He's got an engine stand and everything. We'll be able to break it in before it even goes in the car.
New City Carpet says, will 456 ratio and a steep first help the differential survive? I would gear based on my trap speed. I wouldn't gear based on trying to make the differential survive. If you need to have a stouter differential, get a stouter differential. Yeah, generally it does take some of the stress off having more gear to apply to it, but I wouldn't use that to choose my gearing. That's a pretty good amount of gear for that too, depending on what kind of tire you're running. You said pure stock. I'm assuming you're not running any more than about a 27-inch tire on that car. 56 is an awful lot, especially if you're planning on running a quarter mile, which it sounded like you were.
I'd like to run a quarter mile. I'd have room to wind it up then. I'll catch him on the other end.
Looking to minimize shock. I get it, but still, that would be how I pick my gear. 25-inch tires of 456, you're going to run that in a quarter mile? What are you going to turn on the top end with that?
Don, you did a pretty good job. Oh, Don running down the track, burning the tire halfway down.
Well, Shane lent me those drag radials, and it's
Right.
like, man, they didn't slip once. The one wheel peel, once that one wheel peels and then you get more traction than the other side, this one takes over and it gets a turn to warm up.
Yep.
And I don't think it slipped.
We had a good shot of that. I haven't posted
Well,
yet,
he
but-
was packing up to leave Saturday, so I had to give them back and I had to put my street tires back on it. It's like, screw it, let's just go out here and blow the wheels off of it. I'll take half track.
Blue Grit Garage.
I don't know if it was bad for the track peeling up. I got a bunch of that on my fenders or my quarters. It's like, man, you could measure this. It was that thick. You've got to be careful on pulling up that grip.
Go ahead, gentlemen.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, Blue Grit has a formula here. One thing I'll do to make it easier is you've got 63,360 inches in a mile, and I'll use that. I'll divide that by the tire circumference, which is your tire height times 3.1415926, and I get my revolutions per mile, and I figure my RPM at 60, and then I can divide that by 60 times any speed I want to get the RPM. Because when you figure it at 60, you have that constant.
That's exactly what I did, John, when I was building a jack for the monkey bike races.
Yeah.
And I calculated out on the 330 because that's what we were supposed to run.
That's right.
And by my calculations, it should have come out to about 39. What was the speed? 45. So yeah, 44 miles per hour. And on one of the runs, I looked. We did the quarter mile, but it was 44.5 miles an hour.
Yeah.
The gear ratio came out right, so
Yep.
it couldn't have, I didn't want to. I just wanted to get there as quickly as possible
Good
and
math.
cap out at 45. So what is going to be this year? Are we going to stick with the 330 or go to the quarter?
We're going to talk about that on the 27th. We'll talk about it on the 27th because there are logistical things about that monkey bike class that make it a little bit different than everything else we do.
Okay.
Evans Mopar says, it's cool seeing the progress on your value and it's inspiration for mine. Though I can't work on cars right now, at least having an engine assembled for it. It is inspiring seeing the progress that both of these guys do, both Don and Dee, do on their vehicles.
Now, if it wasn't for No Name, I wouldn't have had a reason to do all this shit to the car. It'd still been a piece like it was before.
And we wouldn't know anything about it if we wouldn't have met John on.
Oh yeah,
Uncle Tony.
we've known each other a while, John.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
how we met John.
We did Carlisle twice.
No, I met through Uncle Tony.
Well,
So
that
mark
was
my words. I am going to get my 68 Valiant on the road this year, or on the track this year. That's the goal. So.
LNA,
Is that a
thanks for
call
coming
out?
by.
Oh, it's maybe. I don't know if that's with some motivation, but call out on your Valiant?
I'll run down the track with you.
All right.
I'm only running the race myself. If you want to come along, let's go play. You know.
Look at Don taking the bat, taking the defense.
Well, I only have
I've only
4
got
barrels in the barrel block, so.
Well,
yeah.
it's saying
Right.
last year I just put them 4 barrels on it and fed it the beans. Luckily, it didn't embarrass me. So now we're trying to step it up, and got 272 days, 2 hours and 18 minutes.
So where are you at in that
Yeah.
process?
Where am I at in that process?
Yeah. Like you're gonna rebuild the engine this year?
Yep, I got it pulled apart. It needs honed. I don't have a machine shop, you know. I'm just gonna, and I know somebody that puts motors together, you know, that's trustworthy. That we're going to put it together. He's like, I'll help you put it together. It's like even better. He's got an engine stand. It's out, and my uncle's in Ohio, so it'll give me a reason to go visit Uncle Sonny.
There you go.
Well, because I'm going to take this whole motor. You know, you got the block and the heads and the valves and the springs and the gaskets and the bearings and the, you know, torque converter. Well, I don't know if he'll need the torque converter, but I still got to figure out a distributor for it. Do I want to run points or, you know, HEI? I don't know. I just want it to run.
So that class is a Dallas Professor P thing, and I'm going to have one of them on planning to next week to take questions, because I want the finalized rules for that class for 1 week from today, for the 27th. Because right now the rules change from week to week, and I want the final rules for next week. So that's the time to ask that question. D says to Ray that he's game. I got to tell you, the thing about the dingle ball hunter, you don't know what you have. With a fixed stone, you get a much better idea, I think. I don't know how much ridge Don's block had at the top. Wasn't the worst?
It doesn't have nothing, but the walls are polished. You know, they need to get a good crosshatch on them. I'm just going to throw the stones to it till it looks like it's abrasive. You know,
measure it top and bottom and see what you have, though. If you got a lot of taper, you really need to get that thing bored.
Well, I can do that. I can do that fitting it with the ring. You know, I can measure the gap on the ring.
You can, but I do. If you're going to take it to somebody, let them stick a bore gauge in there. Usually you'll see more when you measure it than you'll see on a ring. A little bit.
I believe that. You'll be able to ride it down the.
There's a tire.
I got time. I got till May, April.
Don't do that. Don't let
Wow,
those
it
numbers
started out as I was. Wendy wondered why I even tore it apart at all. It's like it ran when you pulled it, which used to be what you did back in the day. You blow a motor up, you buy another one, stick it, and stuff it. You know. But that was back then.
So I have pulled the motor out of carry. I haven't opened it up to see what's going on in it, but it's pulled. The transmission is out of carry, which is I'm going to use for the 68. I should be getting my block back here pretty soon for that. So I got to do some little moving around with parts and transmissions and things of that nature. So doing a little dance this year.
B&R says, get the job done for me in my 70 Trans Am Ram Air 4-speed. B&R, are you going to get that together this year? Is 2025 going to be the year of that 1970 Trans Am?
I want to see that.
Lubric Garage says, well, at least we can still have test and tune and do call-outs and bracket races, so we should have plenty of opportunities to run. Yes, you do. You have all kinds of opportunities to run there. You can run all you want. There are people who make 25 passes on No Name National.
Yeah,
you can run more than
can
No Name
almost
National than any other event you go to.
Yeah, you can hot lap it.
Well, Vic,
Like,
you got to get there.
I remember I did 2 passes back to back, and it's like I went out on the side road just to go out and give it some air. It was that motor gets. It was pinging. It was right on the edge, but something's got to give.
You desperately got to figure out where your timing is.
Shit.
And you also need to curve that distributor badly in that new engine. That'll make a huge difference.
Oh, I know. I've just been living with this. I remember years ago, it was the timing was off, and it was like I'd pull off the side of the road and give it a twist. It's like, oh, that worked better than the other, It doesn't run bad now, but yeah, it's going to change with that new motor. Saying I got Marty's Hot Rod Garage. He's going to fix me right up.
Where is he again?
We're going to put it. Huh?
Where is he again?
Ohio.
He's might as well say Uncle Sonny, Elyria, Ohio. No, what is it? He's the next little town over. He's like 12 minutes from Uncle Sonny's. It's Marty's Hot Rod Garage. He's got a Hemi Express. It's a wheel stander. It's a D100. He doesn't exhibition that anymore, but he does have a 65 Belvedere that he just put a carbon fiber drive shaft in it. He just put a video out on about that.
NSB Custom Cars is in the house. How's it going? 38 wants to know how Stone Soup is doing since Vic is in here.
I'm not seeing the comments over here on StreamYard.
Well, they're there. Look up at the top.
Oh, there it goes. I had like a half split window. It was screwed up, but it fixed itself. I'm good now.
I want to know if Stone Soup has seen any snow yet.
How are you people doing on snow? We had a little bit in the air. What do you have in North Dakota and Pennsylvania, respectively?
We just got about maybe 5 inches here. The last couple
we
days.
haven't got
that was the
that.
first significant that we've gotten.
We got 2, maybe 3 today. It depends on where you measure it. But we got Girly put away for the winter. She went and got a bath yesterday. We put her away dry and clean, put a tarp on it for the winter, put the snow fence up. So she's hibernating.
New City Carpet, a place I would ask there's a good place to ask tech questions on Wednesday nights. Dallas and Professor P over there, 7 to 9 Central on the American Hot Rod Association channel. That's good for that. I think they'd be good. Dallas has got a lot of your GM stuff covered. That's a good place to ask. Stone Soup apparently is surprisingly fun on snow. Okay.
I bet it is with that 3 on the tree.
Oh, there's nothing funner than an empty parking lot in the fresh snow.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's They'd rather you do that than do it on the street.
B&R has a BHJ Pontiac torque plate, $720. I believe it. I'm sure that was really expensive. That's got to be nice to have. Here is a link to the AHRA Live every Wednesday, the channel right there. NSB says, what snow? Thank you for reminding us it's always T-shirt weather where you are, Lee. I appreciate that, Not.
Yeah, as we're supposed to get a cold wave over the weekend. Be lucky to get out of the teens. But maybe I'm being dramatic. It's worth a towel under the front door for a little extra. As long as the pipes don't freeze, we're good. When they built this house, they run the upstairs for the bathroom up. They run the plumbing up in the exterior wall. So it's cold temperatures that turns into a trouble. Either keep the water running, or after I got a furnace put in, I had a duct run right up that joist.
We used to have a hairdryer.
Used to have a hairdryer we'd plug in just
that extension cord is still in the basement that comes up the steps, and we plugged it in here.
Yep, I've blown slush out of them pipes a couple times and feel lucky. But that was years ago.
This house has like a cantilevered overhang, split foyer, and the way it's made. And they ran the pipe up from the water heater outside, on the outside of the wall, and then into the kitchen. It's like somebody designed that just to freeze. Makes no sense at all to me, because what they could have done is they could have run it on the inside of that wall into the kitchen. I would think easier than how they did it. But no, it's got a piece of heat tape. And when it's down to single digits for more than a day, you got to plug that heat tape in.
And our kitchen floor is cold as crap.
Yeah. Yeah, that kitchen floor over there is always been cold. Low of 49.
Yes. And here's internet connection short. How about YouTubers not going to get anything done? Jason says all his plumbing's on the inside wall. D, what are the differences? Like when you look at houses up there, as I know it's really freaking cold up there where you are. What do you see different about houses there to keep them warm? I mean, does anybody rely on a heat pump where you are, or is all of it like gas and oil? And I would just imagine the world is different in North Dakota.
It is. We haven't fallen below zero yet, I don't think. It's been close, but it keeps creeping down, and January and February are brutal.
Oh,
yeah, it's saying
it's on top of it. And I tried the blanket trick, like you were saying, Don, under my garage door just to keep every little breeze from coming in, and it's hard to even keep it warm when it gets down below zero to keep it where you can even work out there. It's a challenge to keep it at 40 degrees.
Doesn't the cost on propane for heat eat you alive? I know you're in Michigan, but I mean, I have propane heat in the garage, and man, it's expensive.
I got natural gas. I used to have fuel oil for like the first 20 years, and then it was like, now that I completely used up that furnace, I got a deal on a new used one through my boss when I worked construction. Or it was from his house. It was a 2-year-old unit, gas burner, $400. It's like, thank you very much. I had the gas company put in a line for free. They just shoot it underground. I would love to have been home to watch them do it. But
I'm 1 block from the natural gas here. But there's a highway in the way, so it'll never come over here.
The only thing sucks is fuel oil you run out of.
Gas you don't, as long as you pay your bill.
Yeah.
Laura says, here's an old short of what Junkyard D does when the drag strip is closed for the season.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh. I got to go see this.
And I paid all my October.
I got my own picture of what
December,
JYD does.
in November.
Bader says he's got natural gas in the house, the diesel heater in the garage. And Peckerwood Customs wants to remind us that his overnight loads are 63. That's brutal there, Aaron.
Oh, nice.
How you're surviving tonight.
Well, you got more snow than we've got all year so far.
We haven't gotten any
don't mind.
ground to speak of.
We got 2-3 inches today, but now it's just going to get cold. So now it's got a blanket out there, and it's. Hope you got antifreeze.
Dean says they use hydroelectric there in New Zealandville. Jason's saying they have natural gas heat, and the outside spigot shut-off valves 3 feet inside the basement walls. Yeah, for us, some of them are on the inside, which is a better deal, but not many. Or either you guys have any plans for Christmas?
Not really.
We're having dinner tomorrow.
She's got to work next week.
Yeah, she's got to work next week. So and she still wanted to cook. So, we're going to have leftovers for days.
Me getting off work at 10 o'clock, I don't have time to come home and prepare all this shit.
Yeah. That's all right. I'll take it. I'm going to eat well this weekend.
You gonna make baked beans, Wendy?
No,
mac and cheese, pasta salad,
baked mac and cheese, pasta salad. What else?
Ham,
gravy, mashed potatoes. Cranberry.
Yes, I have that too. I gotta go with it.
It's all part of it.
I ain't doing turkey. Oh, and I'm doing ham stuffing.
Ham stuffing. Gotta have stuffing.
Blue Green uses electric heat in the garage. I bet that's nice and cheap.
That's what I have also. I've got an attached garage, so a 220 heater, and yeah, you notice the difference when it comes this time of year. But I've got it like if it's cold, I get my blast heater out and at least get the temperature up, and there's different.
I don't
ways.
have enough garage to heat up. I got a little space heater that'll fit in front of your thighs. I got a box that it sits on. Heat comes out from under the shelf you're working on. You only need this much room that's warm, right?
Ray's got 2 years worth of propane on the premises. New City Carpet. Yeah, we're trying to make you hungry. That's right. Lars says Chinese food for Christmas, up or down? That's my vote right there.
No, I got it.
What's your guess on how many pounds of propane that is? 2 years worth.
Indirect Connection says, I need recommendations on heaters for my garage. How much does the electric bill go up with electric heat? Well, I'm not a good one to ask. I have one of those is Mr. Heater garage heaters, runs on propane or natural gas, and I've got mine jetted to run on propane, and it's expensive. It's expensive. I can't get natural gas here. Electric heater, I have no idea. I know it's expensive. That's what D has, and Blue Grit Garage uses electric heat. What do you say, D? If you're going to make a recommendation on electric heat, what would you say?
Like say what I've got, I think it's like a 10,000 BTU 220 electric. Garage is insulated. The old doors on there, though, there are some leaks and things, but I want to say it's about $60-$70 a month difference when it gets cold this time of year. Just to keep that. If I want to keep it warm enough where everything doesn't freeze, and then when I'm out there and crank it up when I'm out there and stuff.
Jason votes for Chinese. Danny Boyd says kerosene's expensive. Yes, it is. Any fuel oil is expensive. All of it's expensive. Everything but wood is expensive.
Well, there's nothing funner than having to go get 35 gallons,
Been there, done that.
Yeah. Off-road diesel.
Now, Dust Devil said, I just did a video on an awesome heater that's quiet enough to make videos while it's running. That'd be cool.
What you do is just insulate well and get one of them it was them little salamanders. Just blast the heat till everything gets warm. Then you'd only have to hit it every once in a while. Depends on your area, I suppose, and how big you're eating.
That's what I do when it gets really cold. Yeah.
Cope says, fa la 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 la, not rah rah rah. Okay. Speaking of that, Cope, how's your transmission case coming? Chopping wood is free but exhausting. Oh yeah, I've split plenty of wood.
Oh, now heating with wood heats you up three different times. Heats you cutting it up, and it heats you moving it into the house.
You really need this apple pie.
Yeah, that's still good.
There's
Unless you
I
need
guess
the
you
room.
still need it.
Yes.
Thank you, Lars. And by the way, we're moving into a little bit of overtime. I don't know if Tony's live tonight. I've not seen. I know that Buff and Kim are going to be live at 9:15 Central Time. So we'll stick around a few more minutes until they're live. I like this idea of turbo toms. I'm not that savvy, but that would be the way to go. I know that Cope uses, he burns waste oil in his shop. It's a good way to go. Especially if you got a lot of old transmission oil, it's a good way to get rid of that too.
Used oil. So it sucks is everybody changes their oil here, so that the used oil jugs seem to accumulate. I need to run to the parts store. Usually,
Why?
it's like they're.
Why run to the parts store? Them fucking things are always full.
I know.
I guess Irish Jane Turbo Talk's talking about. Be a good one to check into.
So how much oil consumption do they use, those oil burners? How many gallons would you need for a season?
That's a great question.
Because I'd run out. I don't have that many vehicles to support, a whole season worth of heat.
Yeah. That's a good question.
John, did you call John?
I tried. I didn't get no answer.
Those of you who have experience running waste oil heaters, let us know. Like I said, I know Cope burns it, but he's heating a lot bigger shop than what most of us has with a lot higher ceiling.
I'll tell you what, if you got a Santa suit, you don't need a heater.
Well, yeah, it's arguable. This is the only time I like having an 8-foot ceiling is trying to heat it.
Yeah, trying to heat it. So you need a ceiling fan to blow it down in the wintertime.
Harder to get that than you think, Danny Boyd. Most of them have a contract that takes it. The home drip style onto cast iron brake rotors, 2 to 3 gallons a day, I was told. Okay, is that how much you're using? Cope says 32 and still in shorts. Yeah, but you're one of those people that wears shorts in Antarctica, Cope. You only wear shorts.
I got shorts on,
Wow.
but I'm in the house.
Meanwhile, I wear jeans on the beach.
Now I'm
And you
going
wear
out.
shorts.
I like to dress for the weather, or at least have enough. It's like this time of year, it's like you see people wearing this, it's like stretchy pants. It's like, if you break down on the way to work, it's going to be a long day. People just don't dress for the weather. I like to keep extra layers in the car over the winter just because I might need. Not that I have, but possibilities there. It's like carrying a jack. I do it so I can change somebody else's tire.
38 races. I think the old heater at work uses 1 to 2 gallons an hour. Big building too. Yeah, that's not bad. Well, 1 to 2 gallons an hour is still a lot, though. A lot to come up with. Certainly more than I could on my own.
Hey, Jason. Coming in at the end of it.
You probably have to augment that with an awful lot of fresh. And that's where the money would come in. How do you inexpensively? The only thing inexpensive is wood. It's just a lot of work.
Wow. Yes, and it will keep you plenty warm. Everything
Jason says
warm.
Merry Christmas.
I would love to do that. I just don't have the room, the real estate to put a wood burner in my garage. But that's what I would prefer to do.
Oh, I had to put brakes and rotors on my Ford last week. Wendy got it inspected, and they wanted to, because the rotors looked bad. They were factory rotors, but they were kind of polished, and but put rotors on it. I had the old set of pads. It was still 70%. I did throw them away 4 years ago just so I could put them back on last week. But my brother-in-law's got a wood burner. I could either do it out here in the yard or take it up to Paul's, and he's got a wood burner that's like 3 feet off the passenger fender, you know. I went up there wearing long johns and, you know, leggings and sleeves. And as soon as I pulled in the garage, I took my coat off. It's like it's going to be a long, you know, hour and a half. It was like 90 degrees on that corner. There's nothing like wood heat. But doesn't mean you need it 90. He knew I was coming up, so he heats his house that way too. He has a fan blowing through the house, so the gas company come out and checked his meter because he thought he was robbing them because he's only spending $60 a month. They thought he was jacking the system or something.
Hot water radiator heat rocks. Yeah, but it's expensive. It's still using natural gas. Although it is good heat. All the old houses had it when I was growing up. There's Just Mopar Joe.
Oh, Just Mopar Joe. I was looking for him earlier. I need to know where to get a flex plate.
Yeah, Joe, he needs to know where to get a flex plate. Ought to be super common.
I gotta write this down.
Heating is a major issue going forward. That's why everyone in upstate New York voted for Trump. Well, our energy policy could use a lot of work. Burning wood in a garage with flammables doesn't say safe to me. Nothing that goes on in your garage is safe anyway, is it, Jason? And I'll mention this again because he just dropped it in here. Buff Del Campos will be live 15 after the hour, live in 7 minutes. So we're going to run up against that time, and then we'll shut down for Buff.
I'd like to tell everybody Merry Christmas just so I can make sure I get that out of the way before this is over. I had a blast tonight, John. Thanks. Give me a reason to get out the Santa suit.
We've had all 3 bracket champions in the house tonight. We've had Joe, we've had T, and we've had Little Possum.
And now you got the slow race champion in the house too.
And slow race. do you guys think that we're going to have a 4th bracket champion on the Friday bracket, or is somebody going to double up this year? Do you think
or a new hitter?
Maybe a new one right here. Maybe that guy. You never know.
No, I might be interested in the bracket. Why not? It gives me more reason to go out. At least I'll be on the boards.
Yeah, why not? Might as well.
Yeah. 28, 10, 5, I'll watch. You guys go ahead.
So what do we think? So Colleen says she thinks there's going to be a new bracket champion for the Friday bracket this upcoming year. So is anybody going to double up, or are we going to have a 4th? And I could ask the same in the burnout competition. Or is there going to have a 4th different champion, or is somebody going to double up for once?
I think there's going to be a new bracket champion because there's a lot of talent out there. A lot of people that just, it's bracket racing. So I mean, you got guys out there that are chomping at the bit to get in there too. So
you don't get to vote, Ray.
There you go. See, I'm with him.
Yeah,
burnout competition, who knows?
I kind of feel like we're going to have somebody double up. We'll see. We'll see. It's going to be it's tougher every year.
I'll vote for the hippie this year again too, because he brings it every year. I was so glad
Okay.
that he won this last year.
Okay. So do we think there's going to be a new burnout competition champion this year, or is somebody going to double up? Because we've seen William, we've seen Roland, and we've seen the hippie. Joe's saying it sounds like a trans break and two-step kind of year. Well,
That's what yeah.
You know, Joe, with one phone call, you could make that happen in your car. See, it's 11 after 10, and Jethro knows that it should be time for this live to be over.
Keeping you on schedule.
He is. He is. 38 says my goal is to get 3 runs in the bracket without needing to buy back. That's a good goal. That's a good goal. We do first-round buybacks. Indirect Connection says, I'm going to say Tim, 318 will run, is coming back to win. That's not a bad guess. That's a good conjecture there. I could see that happening. You never know.
With the van, you think, or with the Duster?
You know what? He runnered up in that van to Joe the first year.
He did. He did.
Well, you know, if is the biggest word in the dictionary, Colleen.
That's right. That is the biggest word in the dictionary.
It might have the fewest letters, but it's the biggest word. Indirect Jason's going to try to win it all.
I'm going to put my name in the hat. Why not?
Where's my treats? I don't know, but mine are in the kitchen. He's got his duck jerky in there. He just knows it's past time, and so now he's barking at me.
Mm-hmm. Dogs don't need a clock.
He hadn't come in here yet, though.
Well, maybe he found a friendly squirrel.
Now, he's telling me it's time to wrap it up. I know that Buff and Kim go live at 15 hours, so if anybody has anything else, anything you need to plug, anything you're doing, now's the time. We're going to wrap up here in about 1 minute.
No, I'm just anxious for all the rules to come out. Next week, I guess we'll find out. We'll wait patiently to see what John's got up his sleeve for this year. So,
well, it's just going to be refining what we have, pretty much. No sweeping changes to Monkey Bike like were made for last year. So don't look for us to go back to what we had or make as big a changes next year as we did last.
Can you tell if it's going to be the 330 or?
We'll do all of it on the 27th because there's other things that all interconnect here.
All right. Personally, I'm just going to say I like the 330, and if we can't make that happen because of the timing, I think we should do it manually with like a flag or somebody at the end to call it.
I hear you. Merry Christmas, and Levi will be watching for Santa, Joe says. My dog's not barking at the TV. He's barking because I'm barking.
I'm kind of looking forward to Santa myself. Wow, we'll just call it that.
All right. And with that, we're going to wrap up tonight, guys. Thank you all for coming out. Have a Merry Christmas. Don't forget that next week, 1 week from right now, actually it's 7 Central, 8 Eastern, whichever you're on or whatever out west equates to that. We're going to be announcing the 4th annual AHRA No Name Nationals. And we're going to be talking about the new class that is coming out that's been talked about on Wednesdays, van action, some stuff we're doing with the faster cars and all that sort of stuff. So if you want information about the 4th annual No Name Nationals, Friday will be the time to do it. So with that, before Jethro barks literally a hole in the wall over there, I'm going to call it an evening.
All right. Merry Christmas, John.
And have a good night.
Yes. Be well, everybody.